The new general manager of Raw, his name is Eric Bischoff!
With last Monday's Raw heavily criticized, including a rare situation of JR and Lawler publicly commenting on it during the week, with JR on Friday saying that a major follow-up show is in the works for this Monday, with outside and internal pressure in the company to deliver a memorable broadcast on the night, emphasizing it even before the show went on the air, with a 45-minute talent and agent meeting taking place around the ring at the empty Continental Airlines Arena at 2:45 p.m. asking the roster to share their views and ideas on how to make Raw a better show, while pointing out that there are some internal problems of motivation and energy in the Raw brand, with perhaps the most talked about part of the meeting seeing Triple H heavily criticizing parts of the talent roster, saying that some of the wrestlers just want to get their match over with so they can leave the building early instead of watching and studying the entire show to get better, saying that people wait for the company to hand them a bigger push instead of forcing them to make it happen, noting that some wrestlers think they deserve a bigger role on the show just because they have an occasional good match on television, bringing himself up as someone who was pushed down by the company in the follow-up of the MSG curtain call until he worked his way back up, while saying that everyone needs to work even harder now that business is down from the peak period to rebuild the audience, with the Hunter comments which were posted on the company website hours later further stirring things up due to his political ties to the McMahons and him playing both the office and talent sides, with Vince McMahon, who was not at the meeting, coming out to open Raw with the NWO music, saying that it's the last time viewers are gonna hear it on the air, officially ending the NWO run, with the final nail being the long-term Nash injury last Monday to see the group being completely written off, storylines including Shawn Michaels taken off the show and Sean Waltman now without the Nash political protection being permanently taken off the road after several recent disputes with management, with Vince, as he did several times over the past year to boost up business, hyping a major reboot of the TV product starting tonight by announcing 2 new general managers for the Raw and SmackDown brands, in a segment resembling his famous promo introducing the Attitude Era in December 1997, saying that the company always changed with the times and it's time to shake things up, with the shake-up starting tonight with the reveal of the new Raw GM in less than an hour, with Raw after the opening segment seeing a 6-man elimination tag match going 14 minutes and a rare TV match going over 2 quarters through a commercial break, seeing the Benoit, Eddie and Regal vs Hardy, Bubba and Spike match coming down to Jeff vs Benoit, with the Benoit, Eddie and Regal team going over in a match picking up over 800,000 viewers for the duration of it. With Vince Russo set for his first full show in charge as the new TNA head writer this Wednesday, while Russo only lasted 2 days as the WWE creative supervisor between June 20 to 21, the general creative direction suggested by him during the secret McMahon meetings at his house in the week prior to his official signing, which saw Russo laying out a long-term angle to revamp the TV product with a new era for the company, were still being used by the current creative crew from the June 24 Raw show that saw Vince introducing the Ruthless Aggression rebranding campaign, followed by what was set to be the start of the main storyline the company would be built around under the new Russo regime, with Shane McMahon making his TV return to warn Vince that the new general manager is gonna turn on him the first chance he gets in an identical scenario to the planned Russo angle laid out on June 21. Seeing the quarter with the end of the 6-man elimination match followed by the teased reveal of the GM, with the McMahon's confrontation jumping over 500,000 viewers to a first-hour high 3.8 rating, with Dreamer vs Richards in a Singapore cane match closing the hour minutes before the hyped reveal set for 10 p.m. With Vince McMahon less than an hour earlier mentioning the 10-year and 500 episodes anniversaries of Raw coming up in the near future. 9:55 p.m. on July 15, 2002 saw a moment as previously unthinkable as any other in show history, with Eric Bischoff showing up on WWF television to a shocking reaction across the board from the fans in the building to TV viewers to the wrestlers watching the monitors in the back. Introduced by Vince McMahon right after the final commercial break of the first hour, with Eric announced by Vince as the new Raw general manager before the historic Bischoff-McMahon hug in one of the most surreal moments in wrestling television history for anyone following the industry over the previous 7 years, and with commercial breaks usually a major tune-out period under most circumstances. The all-time cliffhanger on the night with the strategic TV formatting of the segment of Eric first being shown backstage, designed to both get the element of surprise and potentially pop a number by giving viewers time to tune in during a full commercial break, not only saw nobody tuning out but led to Raw picking up viewers at a rapid rate not seen in months the moment word got out on Eric showing up on WWF television, resulting in the next 15 minutes spiking huge to the biggest quarter-to-quarter viewership gain of the year to see Raw within minutes jumping almost a full rating point with over 1.3 million viewers, with Eric, who unlike last year when getting the call from JR with an offer to be part of the Invasion pay-per-view, contacted directly by McMahon in the past 2 weeks to close the deal at the same time the Russo-McMahon creative meetings were taking place for what was suggested by Russo to be a long-term Bischoff vs. Vince and Shane storyline, getting the word on him about to make his TV debut on only a few days' notice to avoid any chance of it being reported, including Eric staying in his hotel room and getting his promo script under the door, with him not getting out until being driven to the building in New Jersey just as the broadcast went on the air, with the entire process successfully creating one of the biggest surprise appearances ever seen in the business, with Eric's promo as perhaps the single most influential person in creating the biggest boom period in industry history while forever changing its business model to television being the biggest revenue source for any wrestling company with the creation of Nitro while revolutionizing wrestling television. Seeing him introducing himself to the WWE audience as the only man in history to beat Vince McMahon at his own game while bringing up some of the most controversial and talked about moments during the Monday Night Wars era, with the promo which was heavily influenced by the Russo suggestion weeks earlier bringing up some of the legit issues since the sale of WCW, including Eric burying the recent Alliance and NWO invasions as the watered-down versions of the real deal that he created at the peak of his run, with this segment which crossed over the top of the hour just as Vince and Eric hugged on stage, followed by Eric's 8-minute promo, bumping Raw from a 3.5 rating to peak the night by a massive margin from any other quarter with a 4.4 rating and over 6.2 million viewers in the most watched full quarter hour on Raw in over a month. After the massive spike for the Bischoff debut promo followed by his first ever meeting with Undertaker and the first Eric Flair interaction on television since being involved in one of the most heated rivalries in history on and off screen, Raw dropped to more routine numbers over the next 30 minutes with a 3.9 rating for quarters, featuring the debut of another former WCW name, with the former Johnny the Bull winning the Hardcore title in a first appearance resembling the Mike Awesome debut to kick off the Invasion angle in the Garden last June on a show that at the time started the big viewership rebound that saw business picking up by the week, along with Bischoff continuing to hype the now changed Vengeance segment of him trying to recruit Triple H to Raw from the original plan of Michaels and Nash waiting for an answer from him about joining the NWO, with Nash's injury in addition to the official disbanding of the group also leading to the Raw house shows over the weekend, which were set to feature Nash's first tour back along with Michaels at ringside, being changed on short notice to be headlined by double main events of Taker, Flair, Lesnar and Van Dam in different combinations, and with the Bischoff debut getting all the hype and headlines to overshadow anything else on the night. The main event was set to see the first time Taker and Lesnar team up, with hints on tension throughout the show to tease on a potential future program, including the possibility of them facing off at the SummerSlam main event if Taker retains the title on Sunday, with Raw's second hour driven almost entirely by the Eric promo at the top of the hour segment, increasing over 600,000 viewers over the first to average over 5.6 million viewers, with the main event tag coming up next. Undertaker and Brock Lesnar vs. Ric Flair and Van Dam went 10 minutes in the main event to cross into the 7-minute overrun, picking up strong with over 800,000 viewers to a joint show-high 4.4 rating with slightly less viewers than the peak for the Bischoff promo at around the 6.2 million viewers range, seeing Taker and Brock going over, followed by the show-long Taker vs. Lesnar build culminating with Lesnar turning on Taker post-match to set him up as a future opponent, before closing the broadcast with Eric calling Brock on the phone trying to sign him to the Raw brand to hype up the first ever Rock Bischoff meeting for this Thursday on SmackDown 3 days to the Vengeance pay-per-view, on a show also set to feature the reveal of the SmackDown general manager along with the big main event with a week of hype for Rock's in-ring TV return after 3 months against Kurt Angle, with Raw on the night increasing to the highest rated and most watched broadcast in a month, drawing a 3.8 rating with over 5.3 million viewers.